Hey there, it's Pete over at the Sampleist, and today we are checking out Viola Textures by Emergence Audio. Viola Textures is the final installment in Emergence Audio's solo string textual series, and it's all about celebrating the wonderful sounds of the viola. If you've ever used an Emergence Audio library before, you'll be right at home with Viola Textures. Everything is housed within their Infinite Motion engine, and you will find a huge range of different sound types. We have pads, we have soundscapes, pulses, basses, melodics, different articulations. The list goes on and on. Viola Textures is perfect for all kinds of underscore, be it film, TV, video game, contemporary music, ambient music, and really anywhere where your imagination takes you. Viola Textures downloads at 3.19 gigabytes and it runs in the free Contact Player 6.7 or later. There are over 160 presets to get you started, and everything's been sampled in 24-bit 48 kilohertz resolution. At the moment, on intro price, Viola Textures is $65, and after the intro period is over, it will go up to $99. In this video, we're going to take a look at Viola Textures. What are the different sounds contained within? What does the instrument look like? How can you control it? And then, of course, I've thrown it into a composition scenario. And in fact, for this one, I did something a little bit different. I decided to rescore the Viola Textures official trailer. If you've seen the trailer, it's absolutely wonderful. The composition is beautiful. I love the trailer aesthetic, so I just wanted to kind of put my spin on it. So without further ado, let's jump straight into Viola Textures by Emergence Audio. And here we have Viola Textures loaded up in the Native Instruments free Complete Control player. Before we go any further, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Emergence Audio for sending over a pre-release version of Viola Textures. That means I can spend lots of time with it, I can compose with it, and I can give you what I believe will be an informative yet entertaining presentation on the library. While we do get the instruments for free, that does not influence our thoughts, ideas, or judgments in any shape or form. I'm just a working composer giving you my insights. Let's play a sound. Now that sound is the Viola glass string infinite pad. So at this point, we should talk about the presets. On the left-hand side in Complete Control, you can see you have all of these different presets, and they all have sort of different categories. You can see correlated, you can see swell, you can see pulse, you can see experimental, but everything makes more sense if you just use the drop down menu here. So we have alternates, correlated, experiments, infinite drones, infinite pads, pulses and swells. So I'm going to play from each category, but the first one is infinite pads. So let's go for, it's in the subtle. Absolutely lovely. Now, just very, very quickly, you can see we've got two different layers. So there are two different samples playing. We've got flautando out. You also notice I'm not using the mod wheel. The reason I'm not using it is it actually acts as kind of like a crossfade. So it's adjusting the volume of the samples in relation to each other. In a traditional string library, you'd use it for obviously modulation, expression, etc. But it's not for that in this library. So let's play another infinite pad. Eternal Glances. Light as a feather. So we're already hearing a range of different sounds. If I do, let's go for classic motion. So it should be a little bit more straightforward sounding. It's quite bouncy, quite waltzy. That's using reverses. Let's go to Crazy Cricket. You can really hear the ricochet going on. Love that. Just sometimes. Yeah, it's a very fun sound. Let's keep going down. I mean, there are loads. Sorrowful Sights. Now, I was going to play this. I'm just going to hold it down. And you'll notice the sample, when we get to the end, it will jump back to the start. And this is how you get the infinite motion engine, or the infinite motion. You can hold these all day long and they will continue to sound, which is very, very cool. So let's look at some infinite drones, flutters. Yeah, it's all very contemporary, like very fresh, very up to date. Some very lovely sounds. Nearly there. It's like some feedback. Yeah, that's lovely. So when you think viola, you don't start thinking, you know, electric feedback. Wow, there's so much. Seraphic Light 2. Oh, I've gone to the infinite pads again. Let's go back to the drones. There we go. Wave after wave. And I always say the beauty of libraries is discovering them for yourself. But I'm going to show you, like I say, some of these. I've got Emerald Pulse. And I'm streaming off an SSD. They load really, really quickly. And I've instinctively gone straight for the module because I'm doing a pulse. So I shouldn't do that. So I'm not going to. Not going to. So that's fairly quiet, to be fair. Let's move on to Evolving Mysteries. very cool to think all of these started as a violin. Sorry, viola. Yeah, feathers. Let's go do one more. Raindrops. No, let's do opus. You'll hear raindrops later in the video. Yep, very clever stuff. Very nice. Let's go for some swells. Lots of swells. Now you can hear, not hear, can't play them yet, but you can see got more traditional articulations here. So if I play flartando alternative swell. Yeah, sounds great. Let's go for sol testo. Yeah, the sampling is stunning, absolutely stunning. Let's go for one more. Punta d'Arco. Yeah. Yeah, brilliant. So we've got sound design patches and then we've got more organic patches as well, which is very, very useful. Then we got alternates. Yeah, why not? Solpont soft muted. Now that, for me, does sound absolutely wonderful. Kind of got lost there. One thing I've noticed, I'm still instinctively working the mod wheel, and I shouldn't be. If you want to adjust the ADSR controls, so for example, if you do want to adjust the attack, you can learn MIDI CC if you want to, or just adjust it. But obviously, it's just a case of getting used to not using the mod wheel and just playing. And there's an instant underscore going on there. So yeah, that it just sounds really, really good. They got correlated. Now, if you're not sure what these mean, and I've got to admit, it's fallen out of my head. There is a manual that comes with Viola Textures, so do check it out because it will tell you what everything is. I've gone for Ricochet straight away. And why not? Flartando alternate correlated. And let's do some experiments. At dawn. I'm not doing anything with the mod wheel there. I've noticed the panning is sort of left and right. Yeah. So of course these are going to sound experimental. So it's gravity. Yeah, it's really clever stuff. Something very different. Let's just do one more. It's a trap. Yeah, it's very horror movie-esque. Lovely. Now, there are lots of different controls, and again, I do recommend checking out the manual. So we have our presets, and there are lots going on. So, of course, you can change the sample just by clicking on the layer and choosing a different sample. Let's just do that really quick. So I've created something quite different there. Let's take the reverse out. Let's go soltasto. It sounds very dramatic. It's panning between the different layers, which is quite cool when you play it. It's lots of control. Now, of course, you can adjust the ADSR controls. You can use the mod wheel to sort of change the big dial in the middle. You can change the volume, change the panning, change different filters. So many different options. And of course, you can randomize. Yeah, I love having the randomize button. So it means you can create your own presets, and of course these could be like really, really good starting points. And then you've got the effects page. There are lots of different effects going on. Sort of reverb, got phaser, chorus. Really, what do you want? Lo-fi, delay. Really, really cool, and it's all synced to your DAW. So there we go. That is a very, very sort of quick overview. There are over 160 presets. I don't really want to sort of ruin all the fun, as it were. So I've played quite a few, couple from each category, so you get the idea. It's a very, very cool contemporary sounding instrument. That's probably the best way I'm going to describe it at this moment. Now, I have had the joy of composing with Viola Textures. So for this one, I decided to rescore the official video. As I've said earlier in the video, I love the video aesthetic. I love the composition that's there. And that is using just Viola Textures. For this one, because we are composers, you know, we're hobbyists, we're working composers, we're going to combine libraries. So obviously we never mention the libraries we're combining with. And I found just a real big strength of Emergence audio libraries is when you combine it, and we're talking like one or two different instruments, that's all you need, you suddenly have this whole massive palette, because you start thinking in terms of, well, I've got the bass to do, I've got some motion I want to put in with some different pulses, I'm going to be a little bit experimental here, I'm going to put a high pad, put a low pad, and you really start thinking about how you're going to develop your piece. And then it really dawns on you that these libraries just have a huge array of different sounds that are available to us, so different sound types. And it's just incredible when you sort of take a step back and think there's 160 presets or just over, and there are all these different categories, and it just works. So without further ado, let's check out the composition, and then we are going to talk about my perspective and what I've created. Brilliant. The sounds that you hear when you compose with just Viola Textures are absolutely gorgeous. They're rich, they're full of character, full of life, and they sound brilliant. You could easily create an entire underscore using just Viola Textures. However, in my experience, when using Emergence audio libraries, if you combine them with just one or two other instruments, it really gives you a huge sonic palette. And what do I mean by that? Well, Viola Textures will take care of everything from basses to pads to pulses. You can arrange everything in pitch order and just create this amazing textural wall of sound. And of course, there are melodic elements there as well, but the diversity of the sounds found within the Emergence audio libraries is absolutely astonishing. And then, of course, when you add other libraries, you're just going to add elements that you wouldn't find within these libraries. So I've combined a piano and electric piano together. They're doing exactly the same thing, and then a simple boom for sound design. That's all I've added, and it creates this just wonderful composing experience. So I've rescored the video, and I gave myself an hour to rescore it. By video I mean trailer, of course. And I started off just with the analog. It's the Analog Infinite Drone. So it's very quiet, it's ominous, it's in the background. And I did add the Solpom soft alternate correlated patch. I'm not entirely sure what all of that means. Obviously Solpont's the articulation, it's soft, but the correlation, etc. Now, combining these together, you just have obviously a low, more like bass pad, and then you have a slightly higher line. And it's sounding very ambient, absolutely stunning, love it. I then thought I'm going to just flesh out this chord progression with the piano part and the electric piano. So you can just hear they're playing exactly the same thing. It gives it a slight 80s feel, I've just realised. But I love it. And then a boom to start off with. So when you combine everything together, lovely. And then we add the Emerald Pulse and just going across. The raindrops pop in as well. So just playing the Emerald Pulse. This is a low pulse. Obviously you can play it high if you want to, but I wanted this a bit lower. I'm going to stop it here because there's a bit of a pause. I wanted to sync up with a part of the video, and I just wanted the overhang from these pulses. So together, if I just play the Emergence Audio Viola Textures library content first. I did not unmute the top one. That sounds brilliant. So really basic chord progressions. Of course, go to the E major there. If I just... the piece is in A major, so yeah. Should be an E minor, but it's an E major. Absolutely lovely. Now, I put a dramatic pause here because in the video I want to sync in when the frame changes here, which I just about got to do. And I did just play it till the end. I love the trailer. The idea that the lady is, in my mind, the way I see it, she's dancing on the inside, as it were, then sort of going back to her reality, then dancing again. And just this idea of a new way to evolve. I wanted to reflect that by adding the crystalline pad and the gentle glint pad too. So if you hear these are a great introduction of different timbres. So in context, I'll just close the video. It all sounds like this together, and this is just the Viola Textures content. I love the natural decay as well going on. So just with the video in context, and I'll just unsolo everything. The booms I kind of use to act as markers, and it really sync quite well with the Emergence Audio logo. Fantastic. Now, I could talk about CPU usage now. I did check my CPU. I do have a Ryzen 7900X, and the CPU usage was on 11%. However, I am experiencing, you can actually see If I click press 12, F12, sorry, not press 12. I've got something going on my computer at the moment, and I'm not entirely sure what it is, but I frequently... It's not so bad now, but I'm getting some random buffer spikes. But anyway, that's nothing to do with the library. That's what I wanted to point out. And again, I've never had any CPU overload with any of the Emergence Audio libraries. So there we go. But that is the composition. I really, really enjoyed working with Viola Textures, and there are so many snapshots and presets. I've only used 6. So in terms of the sounds that are contained within, there are so many, and of course you can create your own as well and randomize and just do sound design to your heart's content. So really, for me, I would be using it in the first instance just to investigate the sounds that are there and start throwing those into compositions, and that could last you albums and albums and albums, really, or scores or scores or scores. And then I'd start creating my own and getting really, really creative with it. There we go. So I'm using the term creative quite often here, because that is what the library is all about. But the samples are absolutely brilliant, and the programming is amazing, and the infinite motion engine is absolutely superb. It's everything you need just to create this dramatic underscore. It doesn't even have to be dramatic. It could be very, very positive, very uplifting. There's so much variety you can do with Viola Textures. You can create ambient music, you can blend it with orchestral libraries, you can create some EDM with it, or some trap if you really wanted to. You know, there's so many possibilities for this library. I think it's absolutely superb. But the composing experience is brilliant. For my closing thoughts about Viola Textures from Emergence Audio, well, what can I say? It is the kind of library that speaks to me. I love the previous Emergence Audio libraries. I use them in composing in a lot of different scenarios, and they just always seem to deliver. But Viola Textures, I love the sounds, the timbres, the character, the movement, the infinite motion engine. Everything about the library just works for me. It is a treasure trove of sonic inspiration. Probably the best way I can put it. You start working with it and it sends you off in different directions, and you're hearing sounds, you start doing different combinations, layers, different harmonies in your MIDI writing. And my writing and my composition was, you know, pretty straightforward, but it just made my really, really simple lines sound something incredibly dynamic and way more complex than it really is. But of course it all interlocks together and it sounds great. There's no clashes, there's no library filler, so you've got patches that are so way out there you can't use them. It just is a great sounding library, and of course great sounds are brilliant and they're all well and good, but it's all about the utility. Are you going to use this library a lot? Well, I can say from personal experience, I use all of the Emergence Audio libraries that I've been lucky enough to review. They're in my template, I use them all the time, and now I've got the just fantastic opportunity to add Viola Textures to that lineup as well. Do I recommend it? I really do, especially for the money. If you pick it up an intro price, even better, but at $99 when it's out of intro price, it is still an absolute bargain. This is a library you're going to use time and time again. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Emergence Audio once again for sending over a copy of Viola Textures ahead of time so we could make this video. If you like what you heard, feel free to leave a like on the video and drop us a comment. What do you think about the library? Are you going to pick it up? Do you have any other Emergence Audio libraries and think this will just work beautifully with everything else that you own? If you're not done so already, please check out our other videos on YouTube, and of course please consider subscribing to our channel. We've got so much content coming out. We love making these videos, and of course it's all about the viewers, because we just want to spread the word of these wonderful libraries from the wonderful developers. So until next time, keep making that great music, and we will speak again soon.